Bd24 Ideal Story and Guidance. The Magical Council 24 out of 32. Ideal, the guiding force of improvement and perfection. The guiding force of improvement and perfection. There is always room for improvement. Quote, I haven't failed. I have found 10,000 ways that don't work. Thomas Edison. End of quote. Ideal story. After Kalimabanco had taken its place as the governor of Crystalia, it was me, a drop of the ocean of love, the home of Kandu, that came to venture Crystalia. As a crystal child of light, I settled down in Orania, the lower crystal kingdom, and Kalimabanco observed me with care, for he knew he needed a team that would help him to keep life in Crystalia going. As a young child playing in the gardens of the castles of garments located in the plains of dreams, Kalimabanco gave me the name Ideal, meaning the one always busy with improving things to the extent of perfection. As a young child, even though I was told to be an incredible handsome child, I had a low self-esteem and felt intimidated by almost anyone. But I had this dream that one day that all would look up to me. I didn't felt it was enough to be adored for my beauty and wanted more. Some years later a kind of magic came over into my life, and anything I played with I was able to improve on. I saw an opportunity to make things better with everything, and from that moment everybody admired and adored me. Unfortunately, I became obsessed with trying to perfect everything, which by the way in the end turned out into defeat and frustration. Here and there, however, I was not in obsession. Things came to me, and I invented many things. Everybody praised me, but I didn't explain them my secret that it all happened by itself, without my doing. It was a reflection from inside of me that made all these things happen. I understood that in essence I was already perfect. But having an adventure in an imperfect world, in which I was seeking perfection, which is not possible, as that world is constantly changing, created with opposites, and bound to time. When I was in this way of living life, and remembering Kandu, everything happened by itself. It felt like being in a zone, so to speak. I invented invention after invention and became the greatest inventor of all times. Spending a lot of time in meditation, I also came to understand as well that everybody had a perfect book in an imperfect world in order to get to our perfect self and to our perfect home. Unfortunately, very few were looking for this and chasing perfection in an imperfect world and basically distracting themselves. The higher realms of the God. Kalimabanco saw my potential at an early age and under his guidance trained me in every aspect and offered me a place in the higher realms of the gods. And I made myself into the God of improvement and perfection. I was great for his plan, as I would keep everybody busy with seeking perfection of themselves and the world. Individuals would stay busy and not thinking about Kandu and their real perfect self, and not making effort to get out of the realm of opposites. Throughout the history in the higher realms of the gods, however, there had been many wars and battles, and I played my part in it. It was not easy for the other gods to be around me, because I looked almost perfect in their eyes, and this got them busy with trying to be perfect themselves, and which drove them to insanity and even trying to destroy me. They managed to do this just like we all kept on destroying each other, but we always revived again because this was the law of this realm, because physical death amongst us gods was impossible. We had that power to recreate ourselves instantly. I don't understand why we kept on doing this to each other, because the show kept on going without anyone really being the real winner. Instead of learning to appreciate each other's gift, we kept on finding ways to destroy each other, which didn't work, and Kalimabanko didn't help either, not trying to bring us together as a team. Actually, I cannot blame Kalimabanko for this, as we did this all to ourselves and each other, just like you mortals do. Yes, all of you are playing this silly game of thinking that you are the best and trying to defeat others, showing off with your great skills and possessions. You are playing gods on earth and imposing yourself and your powers. So please do not judge us, but try to find ways just to improve yourself without having to show this off. And when you really want to perfect and to be eternal again, seek later in your life a perfect teacher who has gone beyond the imperfect world of body, mind and matter. Touring my realm. At one point in time in the history of Crystalia, with the permission of Kalimabanko, I made my second home in a realm in which I could experience my energy in full. Here I had my playground without having to battle with the other keepers, but where other problems arose. I went to the plains of dreams, to one of the castles of garments, and took the body I still have today, representing my purpose. I live in the center of my realm called Ceramica, also called the Land of Perfection, and which is surrounded by 3 major cities. I have my living quarters near the Statue of Perfection, which has a large pedestal with nothing on top of it. For many visitors this is a strange sight, but when I explained to them that it is a reminder of Kandu, the Eternal One, the idea becomes a little bit more clearer, as it is a reminder of our essence, our soul, that is one with Kandu, and which is perfect and eternal. However, something we cannot see with our physical eyes, and that's why just a pedestal with nothing on top. With the help of those in the surrounding 3 cities, we have tried to create a perfect land, here in the center, but you have to decide if this is perfect or not, in your opinion. Ceramica is a world in which everything is made from the finest porcelain, and I mean everything. The roads, the houses, the transportation devices, of which many look very artistic and odd, but also everything in nature is made of porcelain. The artistic skills to create everything from porcelain is an art, which is close to perfection, and everything you see is just incredibly beautiful. And of course I cannot explain to you the perfection of the art of painting on the porcelain. It is a wondrous world to visit and walk through, but you can only do this when you have mastered the art of silent walking, because the porcelain is so incredibly fragile. It is a world in which nothing changes, and the artists who are in charge to maintain the land of perfection work night and day when things start showing signs of getting older, and either it gets repainted or replaced, and on those parts which are not perfect anymore, so everything stays looking perfect. Those artists live in the city of excellence, in which individuals live that are busy with improving any of their skills. But they all know that perfection is impossible in a world that is constantly changing and bound to time. It is great to see those improving their skills in the best way possible, but unfortunately we have also many who are still getting trapped in trying to be perfect and trying to create a perfect world, and who are just getting frustrated in the end. Often wars surface and led by those who are trying to create a perfect world, which mostly just boils down to forcing others into a certain way of thinking and living. In the city of the inventors, constantly new things are invented, things that are actually should make life less complicated and give more free time, but instead everybody becomes the slaves of these inventions. Only very few have mastered the art of simple living and have moved to the city of mentors, and who are available for those who strive to live a simple and content life. Most other mentors in every field are there for those who are seeking to improve their skills and knowledge. But again, many get trapped in trying to become perfect and losing the real picture and end up being frustrated and defeated. Everybody is so busy with improving and perfecting things connected to the imperfect world, and very few are going the inner path of seeking to reconnect with their soul and Kandu, which would be discovering that one is already perfect, but that the body and the external world is just an adventure in the world of imperfection. The big change. Having two main residences, in the higher realms of the physical gods and in my private realm, I was asked at one point in time by Maria Morrow to become a faculty member at the Sacred Archives at the Magical University of Life. Maria Morrow, being the principal who respected anybody and who was wise, invited us all, the key masters, the keepers and the guardians of the universe. We as keepers of conduct received the name Divanas, and under his guidance we all had an equal position and shared the knowledge of the universe and nature from our personal perspective with the students, and we all felt very important. It was a great change. We turned back into love and stopped our wars, for we all knew that you needed all the help you can get in order to save yourself and your planet. For those amongst you who want to become more aware and who understand that I am part and parcel of you and within everything and everybody, I invite you going the journey and rediscovering all about me in my realm, or sit in my classroom at the university, the Sacred Archives, and learn about the basics of life, or even connecting with me through a home self-schooling system. All connections to me are an incredible experience, and the more you know, the better you can go through your own life adventure. How I can help you in your life. Quote, excellence is the gradual result of always striving to do better. Pat Riley. End of quote. We are trying to find that perfect something and looking for it in all aspects of life. But you end up frustrated and feeling defeated. I am ideal, the guiding force of improvement and perfection, and encouraging you and showing you that there is always room for improvement. However, seeking perfection in an imperfect world, which is created in duality, bound to time and change, is chasing an illusion. The perfect you. However, never forget that although the world and everything within it is imperfect, on the level of your soul, you are already perfect. You are the daughters and sons of Kandu, crystal children of light, drops of the eternal ocean of love, a perfect world, but momentarily you are on an adventure, equipped with a body and mind to experience the imperfection. The mind, the body and mind are from the imperfect world, a world that is not always the same, nor everlasting, and you all come and go, just like everything else comes and goes. Striving to be the healthiest and vital person of body and mind is a great thing to do by excellence, but never forget that you are only as strong as your weakest point. The weakest point can be a mental or physical pain, so never forget and think that you have made it, or that you are strong and perfect, because it will get you at your weakest point. The perfect family. When you forget this most important fact, you will feel alone and lost in the world, and the first thing you will wonder about is that you have ended up in an imperfect family with imperfect people. Your father and mother are not perfect, and they make mistakes and sometimes forget to treat you with respect, just as you forget to respect them for their true essence, because their essence, they are perfect souls, also on an adventure in an imperfect world, in an imperfect body, and with an imperfect mind. When you forget this fact, you will later be trying to recreate or to create the perfect family for yourself, and you also will end up in pain and sorrow. Take everybody for what and who they are, but always remember that under the bodysuit is that soul, which is perfect. Learn to overlook the shortcomings of others and look at their potential. Is that not as well you would like to be looked upon? The perfect home. Like seeking for that perfect family, be careful wanting that perfect home, because your home will have breakdowns, repairs and maintenance. And when you would ever come in the position to build your own house, you will see this as well, that it is an adventure of challenges and just dealing with imperfections. The perfect toy. Be aware that none of your toys will be the perfect toy, as they all become older and eventually break, and so is it later in your life with anything for that matter of fact. These things do not make you perfect. They are mostly desires that will bring you more agony and stress than you think. Wanting and desiring, and letting the impulses run without a manager, will give you more trouble than learning to be content. And the latter is much easier to accomplish. The former is like ending up in a rat race. The perfect friend. You will have many friends in your life, and none of them will be the perfect one or great in all areas of life. But it's good to have friends you can learn from and who give you the courage to improve yourself as a friend, but who also motivate you to improve in all other areas of your life. So I suggest to you to always seek friends who have an excellence about themselves in any field, and you try to keep on improving just as well. The perfect school and perfect grades. There is no perfect school or perfect schooling system or perfect teachers or perfect students. It is an adventure of learning, or better said, discovering what is already inside your mind and body, and according to your personal book of life, you will get exposed to certain teachers and schooling systems that are just for you. Nobody is deprived of learning, but unfortunately you connect school learning to education. But there are endless ways of educating yourself. There is so much to discover. Look at your entire life as a school in which you are never finished studying, nor do you graduate, and do not forget to study the basics of life, which we as mentors, members of the Sacred Council and the Magical Council have to offer. We offer an education which you in general do not receive at home nor at school, but which is the foundation of all other schooling and all other education. The perfect skill. During the course of life, you will be learning many skills, professional, athletic, artistic, and even have mental capabilities. And at one point, have your physical profession, but know to never think that you know it all, because you set yourself up for the test. Enjoy your profession, and through them earn some money, or learn how to trade to provide for the basic needs of life. Don't get caught into running after a perfect life. Just make the best out of each situation. Watch out, however, to get lazy or to give up too soon, but also know when to be lazy and when to stop. Those signs mostly come when it damages your health and well-being, or that of those around you. A perfect adventure. A perfect adventure would be that everything would run according our expectation and without any challenges. But that is not an adventure. An adventure is about challenges, traps and difficulties, but I can assure you that there is underneath your physical life adventure a perfect adventure book. This book is your personal adventure book that maybe has not even any rewards in the world you are living in, but that is a perfect book to return to the perfect and real you, the soul, and to find your perfect home where you once came from. Many fairy tales speak about this uniting of two individuals in the end, which is all about the reuniting of the soul with its creator, Kandu. These stories are mostly incorrect interpreted and are looked upon as finding a perfect partner in life, which is again setting oneself up for disappointment. It is about the acceptance of the imperfection in one another and learning to overlook these shortcomings, but thinking on a higher level and seeing each other as perfect souls in an imperfect body in an imperfect world. A perfect world. There are so many idealists trying to create a perfect world with a perfect system, but everything in creation is part of an imperfect world, created in duality, bound to time and constantly changing, in which man can always improve things about himself on all levels. When life would be a perfect world, we would never be thinking about the soul, the creator, our real home, and then we would really be lost. That recognizing about the imperfections in this imperfect world will eventually bring us back, remembering about our real self, the soul and Kandu, and our perfect and eternal home. So let us not be so disappointed with this world, but look at it for what it is. Deal with it. Improve there where you can, and seek later in your life the real guidance and the real teachings that can assist you to go the real adventure. When we look from this point of perspective, each moment is a perfect moment to guide us home and to the understanding who we really are. My perfect book of life. With the exception of the soul within us, our true self that is perfect, I have spoken enough about the imperfections we try to make perfect and come up with endless improvements. But there is something else perfect, and that is our personal story or book of life. Everything is going according to plan, a plan that assists us to evolve. It is that book written either by ourselves or Kandu the Creator, in which we are no victims, and where there also are no victories or defeats. It is as if from this level of understanding we have no clue, and from this level of consciousness in the theater of mortal life, everything runs perfectly. Nothing can be added or subtracted. It is to trust that there is a higher purpose, and it is for us to accept that life and to use all our energy to deal with everything that happens in a good way. When we could accept this, we could stop chasing, hoping and desiring, and being busy writing new books. Maybe these new books we have to come back for, or we leave the ideas in the air for others to pick up on, or we die with a list of unfulfilled wishes, or genetically pass them over to our children. The real treasure and adventure is possible, not about losing all our energy being busy with improving the mortal world, in which everything changes by itself, but to use all the energy to find the real me inside our book. Everything and everybody has a perfect book. So very important is to stay aware about the fact that not only you are in essence perfect, but that you have also a perfect book of life written for your evolution. But everything and everybody is in essence perfect and has a perfect book as well. So there is no need to judge anything or anybody, but it is for you to accept those facts and learn to adapt to any situation or anybody. The game of perfection. Always busy trying to improve and to perfect the endless things of the world that is imperfect, forgetting that your soul and book is already perfect.